Hello everyone, GeneralApple here with the house in Fata Morgana part 20, and man, I've been waiting to record this episode because the last one was crazy good. We actually seen into Michael past, and we've seen his transformation from female to male, even though it's half a transformation, you could say, because he's still missing, the crucial parts. But it was so incredible to see why was he banished and what happened and how his brothers actually saved him because their mother told them, and also they wanted to save him, but still it was the mother that actually told them to do so, even though she kind of went mad. And it was super incredible just to see how this entire story unfolded, and I believe we stopped right before seeing what happened next, so let's just continue straight where we left off last time. Exiled. Ooh, what a name. Alright, let's do this. So right now, Michael is in the carriage, I believe. I couldn't remember how long it had been since the capital had disappeared into the distance, but I'd been on the road for some time now. With long since left paved roads behind, the carriage rocked back and forth as it proceeded down the rough dirt path. For hours, I stared through the window as unfamiliar scenery flowed past. Eventually, a fog settled over the area, making it difficult to discern night from day. We made our way through dark, dense woods, and beyond them, like the world fading into view after a dream, a mansion appeared before us. It's the same sentence all over the game. All the windows were either shuttered or boarded, encasing the house in darkness. In a way, it felt like all I had done was move from one prison to a much larger one. Briefly, I thought they had possibly been sealed to keep anyone from seeing me inside. But my coming here was a very recent development. More likely then, the house had been in this condition when it was initially purchased. Quite a piece of property my father had found himself with. I wondered if he had been swindled by its previous owner. You know what, that's actually true. Why did he purchase this house? It was a gloomy, uninviting place, but it didn't appear to be in disrepair. The coachman left my luggage outside the door, gave me an empty farewell, and then went on his way. I was entirely alone. I spent some time just staring out at the forest, but naturally there was nothing of interest to be found there. So I quietly turned around and opened the door to the mansion. It's certainly dark. I could barely even see my own feet. Briefly, I considered trying to unshutter the window but ended up deciding against it. The less inviting the place looked, the easier it would be for me to avoid contact with the outside world, as Didier had recommended. Standing there in the dark for several minutes, my eyes gradually grew accustomed to the lack of light. While it was hardly ideal, it was sufficient to take a look around the house. The inside didn't seem to have received the same level of care as the outside. Everything was dusty and the air was many years stale. But I wasn't in a cleaning mood. So I dug through my luggage for a bundle of candles, lighting one with a flint. Ah, stained glass window? The angel. Examining the large room I found myself in, I came across a stained glass window depicting an angel. The archangel, after whom I had been named, looked solemnly down upon me. Quite a joke. 2 columns of evenly spaced pews ran the length of the room, all facing the multicolored window. I set the candlestick on a podium of some sort, which is when I realized this is a chapel. A flat length of silver, bent in the middle, was mounted to the pulpit's face. When I saw it, I knew exactly what it used to be. A cross. The pews weren't facing the stained glass, but a cross. Why though? It felt as though the mansion had been built up around the chapel rather than the opposite. I was perplexed as to why anyone would do that. But of course, there was no one around to sate my curiosity. Taking the candlestick back in hand, I made my way beyond the pulpit. There sat a small metal door. I pressed one hand against the cool surface, and my heart leapt. It was an abnormally cold. Though the door itself seemed perfectly normal, an inexplicable anxiety spread through me. It was a very unusual sensation. My instinct told me I should stay far, far away, and my heart told me it was my duty to see what lay beyond. What am I going to find back there? After a few moments' hesitation, I decided to act in opposition to my instinct. The observation tower. This is the staircase that leads to them. I was looking at a long spiral staircase. The wooden stairs stretched so high I couldn't tell where they ended. An observation tower, perhaps? As if being pushed forward by some inhuman force, I mounted the staircase. By the third or fourth loop, soft light began peeking into the tower through regularly spaced rectangle opening in the stone walls. Through one such window, I gazed outside. And far off in the distance, beyond the seemingly endless ocean of trees, I saw a small village. Nowhere I'm ever going to go. So many stairs. It had been quite some time since I had exerted myself this much. I hardly had any opportunity locked away in my chambers. With every step I took, I could hear my joints creaking and my muscles screaming. I was long since out of breath, only staying upright with the help of the wall. This is pitiful, damn it. But turning back never occurred to me. I had to keep climbing, had to make it to the top. And it was that feeling of necessity that pushed my exhausted body upward. By the time I reached the top, I was practically gasping for air. Sweat streamed down my forehead. I wiped it aside, turning my gaze toward yet another door. But unlike the first, what on earth? A tangle of rope covered the surface, layers upon layers of it, making it in its intent abundantly clear. Nothing shall come in or out. It didn't look like it had been put there recently either, as much of it was rotted through. Out of curiosity, I grabbed at the coil and yanked. Rope snapped in several places, chunks falling limply to the floor. That wasn't enough to allow the door to open, though. People only seal doors like this for a reason, largely because they didn't want or couldn't allow others to see what hid behind them. Like what they did to me. For a few moments, I felt as though I was looking down at myself from outside my body. If it hadn't been this man, but someone else standing there, would they have turned back at the sight of the sealed-off door, acting as though nothing was there? Or would they have done as I did? I ground my teeth, a mix of annoyance and bitterness rushing through me. But I did not hesitate. I held the flame of the candle up to the wall of rope, careful not to set the whole thing ablaze, slowly, carefully burning through them, one by one. It was repetitive and time-consuming, but I persisted, wiping away a sheet of sweat before it streamed into my eyes. Oh, sheets of sweat. The sun was well on its way down before I finally managed to expose the door. Is Morgana body still there? I took a deep breath, looked up at it, and gulped. There was something indescribably chilling about the door. And then I pushed it open. A barely noticeable breeze brushed past me. A single ray of sunlight shone into the room, coming from a single window sitting high atop the wall. It cast a milky white patch of light on the hard floor, revealing the fact that I was not alone. The rumors say a witch lives in the mansion. There I saw, in this cursed house. Yep, a skeleton with only one arm. A cursed mansion for a cursed man. It was like I was destined to end up here. I had no way of finding out who the skeleton belonged to, so I left it there at the top of the tower and retreated into thought. Come on, man, you have to give her a proper burial. It's disrespectful, I wondered to myself. How had the one-armed person died? How had they felt locked in that room? Staring up at the sole window, so far out of reach. About the only thing they knew they would have seen was the sky and the occasional bird. Had they yearned for more light, or had they come to despise the tiny patch of it that trickled into the room? Had they been some sort of wicked criminal, imprisoned for wrongdoing? Not all prisoners are necessarily bad people. Having been branded with non-existent curse, I couldn't help but think that perhaps something similar had happened to whoever they were. Vainly reaching out for the sun, constantly praying for the rescue that would never come. What had gone through their mind as they withered away? Would anyone ever come for me? Would my brother keep their word? Or would I, years from now, end up another pile of dry bones somewhere in this house, unwanted and alone, robbed of all hope, with no one but the darkness to talk to as it sunk its teeth deeper and deeper into me? That corpse could be me in the future. Didier, Georges, did you really send me here to keep me hidden? Or is this to be my grave? Can I put my faith in you? Can I trust you when you say I'll be able to return? That everyone will happily accept me? That we'll be all together again? That we play chess, that we'll draw pictures, that nobody will be left out? All I really wanted was for people to accept me for who I was. To accept that I was a man. No, that I had grown to resemble a man. That I had the heart of a man. I didn't need anything else. I didn't want to cause anyone anguish. I didn't want to hate anyone. I simply wished to be who I was. No, who I wanted to be. And I didn't want to be treated like I was strange or different. If that was asking too much, then at the very least, I want to have one person in my life who truly understood me. Didier, Georges, I pray that you can be that for me. Lurking quietly in the mansion's all-encompassing darkness, I waited and hoped that they might arrive when I could come out of hiding. However, 1, 2, 3 years later, I had still not been set free. Only my mother wrote me, and in all of her letters she said the same thing. When your curse is broken, come back home, sweetheart. When your curse is broken, I want you back in my life. When your curse is broken, everything will be back to normal. I wait expectantly for the day you are free from the terrible curse. The curse would never be broken, though. What I was now was what I was meant to be. All the time I had spent as a girl, none of that was real. Didier had said he didn't think I was cursed. My brothers didn't think I was some hellish demon child. So no, the curse will never be broken, because there was no curse to break. I wasn't cursed at all. There was no damned curse. But the flow of time eroded away at me, slowly killing any confidence I had once had, sucking me dry of all trust for others and myself. With enough time, I started questioning my own beliefs about what I was. Started thinking that perhaps I was cursed, much like they had at the Bollinger estate. The servant who came by every month did his best to avoid making eye contact. But beyond just bringing me food, he was also checking in on me and making sure I didn't attempt to run away. And every month, he probably went back and told Mother the same thing, that my curse had still not been broken. Do you have the answers I seek? Or, O Father in heaven, if you do, I ask of you to guide me, to please tell me what I am, if I'm truly cursed, and perhaps you could tell me how much my soul weighs too. Oh God, it's too sad. Probably not very much. I spent enough time alone in a dark mansion to drive anyone mad. The more time that passed, the more I grew to question myself, my worth as a human being. And whenever the self-doubt and loathing became too much to take, I trekked out to the top of the observation tower to see the light. Sitting there on the hard floor, I would place my hand on the skeleton's leg, its shoulder, its hand. From the size of the bones, whoever it was appeared to have still been young when their life withered away. Poor child. Even I feel blessed, compared to you. Oh, how miserable it must have been, locked away up in this tower, to have your arm mercilessly severed. You have my pity, though. I alone shall mourn your death, and I alone shall take comfort in your presence. You poor, poor child. By pretending to pity someone who had had it worse than me, I was able to feel somewhat better about myself. Because if I was in a position to pity someone else, then, conversely, I wasn't in a position to be pitied. Vainly, foolishly trying to convince myself of a lie, I spent hours, days alone in that tower, holding the dry bones in my arms. Now, there was a sight to lend credence to my alleged madness. Oh, God. Over time, the air in the mansion seemed to thicken, as if the fog were condensing. Water pushed out all the air, swallowing me up, suffocating me. A putrid mire. I was trapped at the bottom of the thick, black sludge. Soon, I lost track of the passage of time, my only landmarks being the dates on Mother's letters. Before I knew it, 8 years had passed. So 8 years without Morgana speaking to him. What the hell is this? I hadn't heard my own voice in so long I'd almost forgotten what it sounded like. There was a delivery that day, but it wasn't the usual package. The servant was instead carrying a large rectangular object draped in cloth. Shoving that into my hand, he said, "The regular supplies will be here in a couple of days," and then ran off. Presumably, he was afraid to spend any more time than necessary with the cursed man. But I didn't bother to say anything about it. I knew it was a waste of breath, and I was not inclined to hold it against him if he didn't want to look me in the eye to exchange words. All I could reasonably do was sit back and bear it. As long as I kept my mouth shut, the man could do his job in peace. By the candlelight, I began unwrapping the package the servant had delivered. From within, a sheet of parchment fell to the floor, and inside the package was a painting. Just looking at it, I couldn't tell what it was, aside from the fact that it was a portrait of a woman. I knew those brushstrokes, though. They were very distinctly George's. The woman depicted had white hair. White hair. There was a flash, a fresh jolt of the pain that had nearly faded away. The half-dozen needles piercing my chest. So much blood had spilled from those gouges I had long since lost any sensation of pain, but now it was back. "No, Georges, you didn't." My whole body froze. The blood in my veins came to a halt. I couldn't breathe. I was drowning in a pool of imaginary water. I crouched down to pick up the sheet of parchment. It was a letter in mother handwriting. The first line read, as it did in all our correspondence: "My beloved daughter Michelle, every day I pray that your curse might be broken, but lately I've come to think that perhaps the reason you remain cursed is because you have forgotten what you're supposed to be. So long you have spent in that accursed form, it is little surprise you lose sight of yourself. How can you return to your true self if you do not even remember what that is? So I asked Georges to paint you a picture, hoping it might help you break free of your curse. You are a beautiful young woman, my dear Michelle. I presume you have already seen the painting. It's lovely, wouldn't you agree? That flowing white hair and skin like glass, those deep, enchanting red eyes, those slender fingers and modest feminine frame, those soft lips. It is not you when you were younger, though. Instead, I had him imagine what you would look like now. That is what you will look like when your curse is broken. Isn't that wonderful? Imagine it. Envision yourself, your true self. Remember who you are. Recall your true self. I wait eagerly until the day you come back to me, looking as beautiful as you do in this painting. My dear Smith Michelle, this is you. This is the real you. You are beautiful, my little girl, and I love you dearly. That awful fuss all those years ago, we can pretend none of that ever happened. Forget all about the dreadful things that curse made you. Become the girl you used to be, the girl you were meant to be, so we can once more be a happy family. I'm waiting, forever waiting for you. Oh God. The letter ended there, leaving me with the woman in the painting staring back at me, her eyes seeming to insist that I was not me. She was the real me, that she was the real me, and I was nothing more than a fraud. Laughing at me, scoffing at me for ever thinking I was anything but female, mocking me for stubbornly insisting I wanted to be a man. The pain in my chest swelled, spilling from my mouth in grunts and moans. And then... I screamed from the bottom of my lungs. Why? 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 I yanked at my hair. Why, Georges? Slammed the painting against the floor. You said I could believe you. You swore to the god of art. So why? Why would you do this to me? You said yourself that you didn't think I was cursed. You acknowledge me as your brother. You know this isn't me. So why? Why would you make this? I've been waiting for so long. I put my trust in you and Didier. I trusted you. I believed you would always support me. Was that all a lie? Deep down, you really think I'm cursed, just like Mother? And that's why you haven't written to me. Why you haven't answered any of my letters? Where did my faith get me? Why did you even help me escape? Was it all for show? Was my execution just a lie, an excuse for you to send me somewhere far away? Well, was it? Tell me, Georges. Tell me the truth. What about you, Didier? Where do you stand? No, this isn't real. My voice was getting hoarse. I didn't have the strength to hold it in, and everything came spilling out of me, squeezed out by the phantom water. And the white-haired girl in the painting just stared back at me, smiling. I bit down on my lip as hard as I could. A metallic taste spread through my mouth, drops of blood trickling to the floor. Pulling the knife I used to open the monthly delivers from my waistband, I lifted it high into the air, gathering what remained of my strength. This isn't me, and slashed the woman faced with it. This isn't me, this isn't me. I'm not this woman. I'm a man, carved into it. This is not how I look, with everything I had. Don't try to erase who I really am. Don't call me repulsive, don't say I'm an abomination. I tore into that smile, contempt surging from every slash. This woman isn't real. I want to curse the whole damned world. Every last thing this wretched mire that had become my life. My brothers, for happily going about their lives as I suffered here in the darkness. My delusional mother for refusing to acknowledge who I was. My father for trying to have me killed. Amy for making me realize I was a man, and then for torturing me for coming out about it. Everyone. I didn't care anymore. I wanted everyone who had ever wronged me to suffer the same way I had. I can make that happen. Oh boy, there she is. A voice rang out. I can curse them for you, my dear. It was a woman's voice, muffled, like there were several walls between me and her. Who's there? I swapped up my candlestick, thrusting it forward to the sides beyond me. But there was no one else around. Give it a little thought. It's not that difficult. And when you figured it out, come to me. I have been waiting for so long for someone like you. Someone with such hatred for the world. How am I supposed to know who you are? How could you not, my dear? You visited me so many times, held me in your arms, whispered "poor child" into my ear again and again. What? No, that's not possible. Ah, I see. I finally truly lost my mind. If that's what you wish to believe, that's your choice. But the way I see it, if you had truly lost your mind, you wouldn't be in so much pain. The voice, still muffled and unclear, seemed to be coming from somewhere far away and very close at the same time. Find your way to me and open the door once more. Let me out of my cage. Give me your hand. I knew in the back of my mind that it was all absurd, but nonetheless I did as the voice said. I let myself be drawn in by the pleasant whispers. I was gonna go up to the tower. The archangel stood proudly upon his glass perch, looking down at me. His gaze almost seemed judgmental, but I marched for the tower, unconcerned. For so long I had been waiting for the day I would be rid of this darkness, for the day someone would truly set me free. When you arrived at this house, I felt the hands of fate at work, that you were led here, that you were meant to come to this place. You've been through so much to get here. I know your pain. I know how it feels to be locked up, to be tortured and used for others' gain. You are the only one to ever have pity for me, and I shall be the only one to have compassion for you. You are the only one to stay at my side, and I shall do the same for you. You can give me life again, you can resurrect me. What? Now open the door, Michael. It felt like I was no longer in control of my own body. Her voice was tender in a way unlike either Mother or Amy, enticingly so. Standing at the top of the observation tower, I pushed open the door. And the first thing I saw was the ray of light shining through the window. And nothing else. Thank you for opening the door. It was empty. The skeleton, which had been sitting there for as long as I had been at this house, had vanished without a trace. I spun around, my gaze darting back and forth across the chamber, but there was no one there. Only her voice whispering in my ear. You made this possible. You gave me the chance to have my revenge. Revenge? Now I can make those men suffer a hell even worse than the one they put me through. Constant, everlasting despair. Their flesh may turn to dust, but so long as their souls live on, their torture will know no end. Oh my god, the tenderness in her voice crumbled away, leaving only raw loathing behind. She then let out a half-muffled cackle. Who are you? Oh, you poor dear. They locked you up here without telling you whose house it was? You sad, pathetic thing. Though that's exactly the kind of person I needed. You're not the witch, are you? That I am. I am the cursed witch who loathes this puny, wretched world. Cursed it. And then my name is Morgana. Morgana. I assumed the witch was nothing but a legend, a tale. If you don't believe me, I would be happy to show you. Let's see. I could place a curse on someone you have a grudge against. Drag them down into the dark abyss. You are the one who granted me freedom after all. Sympathized with me, pitied me, appreciated me. You happily embraced my filthy corpse. And for that, I will grant you your wish. Wishes can come true, Michael. Much the same way I was able to come back to life. If you remain steadfast in your desires, they will become reality. For devotion and yearning are the fountain from which miracles spring. I cannot leave the mentioned grounds. But that is but a minor inconvenience. Tell me who you wish to curse, and I can lead you to them. I can force the cross you were made to bear onto them. I believe in my power to perform miracles because you made my miracle a reality. So tell me, my dear, Who will be first? Your second brother, who made that ridiculous painting? George's. Shall we kill him? He deserved that. He deserved at least that. He brought you more than enough pain. But if you would rather, you could curse your mother instead. Or the woman who set you on this path. Or perhaps you would prefer your father. With him gone, you could return home. Ask, and I will perform a miracle for you. I didn't think she was lying either. As ridiculous as the whole affair sounded, the skeleton had disappeared from the tower, and I was hearing a disembodied voice. But beyond that, the voice seemed to have a sort of magnetism to it. If magic truly did exist in the world, then her words were laced with it. There was power in her voice. Something that repelled any instinct I might have to doubt the things she said. So I, on the verge of losing my grasp on reason altogether, believed every word the witch said. I wanted to curse them, to curse my brothers, mothers, father, Amy, and the witch was saying I could do precisely that. What will it be, my dear? There is no price. I don't require sacrifice or dark ritual to perform my magic. I simply wish to show my gratitude. I want you to have that which you desire. Who do you want to curse? The witch's sweet whisper hung in the air for a brief moment before wisping away. All the muscle in my body tensed up. I felt woozy, like the floor was wobbling beneath me. It took everything I had not to fall over. Who did I want to curse? Oh, and you are welcome to choose more than one. All of them even. I could curse them, and the witch would kill my family. I would be free. No one would know I had been born a female. Why don't you become the new head of the estate? Who would I curse? Who would I kill? Didier? George's mother, father, Amy? All of them? They had exiled me to this place. Have your revenge. A black butterfly fluttered across the room, single shaft of light. As I stared absently up at it, dozens of memories of emotion flashed through my mind. But at the end of the day, we're family. We can get past anything. With enough time, everything will go back to the way it was before. Just like it did for myself and George's. I don't understand. Why wouldn't I think about them now? They've abandoned me. Left me in that room for 2 years and then left me here for 8 more. They don't care whether I'm alive or dead. So why should I? Why should I? Oh. This is literally one of my favorite pictures in the entire game. Have you made up your mind? I have. Then tell me, my dear, who will it be? Who will you curse? No one. I cannot curse anyone, Morgana. Surely you jest. I know just how much you wish to see them dead. I felt all your hatred, your despair. And you mean to tell me you can't curse them? It struck me just now that I can't do that to family. I cannot curse my own family. This is the family that cast you aside, labeled you cursed, made you suffer for years, and then locked you away in this remote mansion? And they don't feel even the slightest bit remorseful about any of it. I understand that. I know that they don't give the same weight to the words that I do. I figured that out long ago. I know I'm alone in my prayers, that they don't want the same things I do, that I trusted them more than they ever deserved. So why then can you not curse them? Because I don't want to hate them. I don't want to bring them suffering. On the contrary, I want them to be happy. You have no place in that happiness, though. It is a happiness that rests upon your misfortune. Why then should you not drag them down so you can find respite for yourself? I would find no respite by cursing them. How can you be so sure of that, my dear? I most certainly found a great deal of it myself. You're trying to follow your conscience. I can see that, but that good is superficial and all it does is shackle you. Remove the shackles, and everything will be so much easier. Nothing you say can convince me to kill my family. Why not someone who isn't family then? Surely you can think of at least one person you would like to see dead. Oh, I most certainly can. I could kill her a dozen times and it would be enough. But just because I would be happy with her death, doesn't mean there aren't people who would be sad to lose her. Remove any one person from that group, and the whole thing could come crashing down, all because I couldn't restrain my own hatred. Your concern for them will devour you. Don't think I'm not aware of that. You aren't. You don't even know that at all. The only reason you give them any consideration is because deep down you still have hope. But hope has the way of forsaking those who give it a home. But you have a problem, and you need to take care of it before it kills you. You and I were cut from the same cloth. While you may still care for your family now, in time, you will come to curse them. Consider that a warning, Michael. Your hatred, your curse, is what brought me back to life. And there is no getting around that. We do have plenty of time though. No need to rush to a decision. I'll show you what it is you truly desire, deep down. And I'll show you again and again until your family acknowledge it. The black butterfly hovering by the window disappeared, and the witch voice grew distant. Overwhelmed, I collapsed to the floor unconscious. Had I really said what I did out of love for my family? Or was I just afraid of crossing that line? Was Morgana right? Was my heart now a home to a terrible monster? If I actually had resurrected the witch with my hatred, maybe that was what I was now. Darkness seeped down over me once more. I was again encased in a pool of despair. Slowly, ever slowly, it wore away at me, eroding me into nothing. If I didn't come up for air, I soon would take the witch's offer. Cackling like a demon, I would place a curse on someone, I would kill them. Reviving her was a mistake I never should have made. And not for the greater good or anything so noble. No, every time she spoke, a little more of my spirit died. From that day on, Morgana's voice became a constant fixture in my life. Curse them, kill them, curse them, she serenaded directly into my ear. No matter where I hid or how deep I put my finger in my ears, her voice resounded directly in my head. Hearing an incessant stream of curses from the disembodied voice was so unreal, so unbelievable that I felt as though I was being dragged away from the realm of reality. There was an odd, unsettling magnetism in her voice, allowing her malevolence to seep into me. It was downright torturous. Curse them, revile them. Do you really need to be in your right mind, honestly? Your fixation on holding onto your sanity is what's causing you so much anguish. Admit it. There's more darkness, more seething malice inside you than anyone else. That's why you were the one who resurrected me. Admit it. You do want to curse them, don't you? Do you want to kill them? You do want to kill them, don't you? Oh god, she's planting ideas inside his head. No, I don't. I don't want that at all. I've told you this already. You're so desperate to deny it, Michael. It can only mean that it's true. You would be able to maintain your calm if you were truly free of guilt. I do not wish to kill Didier, or Georges, or mother, or father. I have no desire whatsoever to see them dead. Your constant babbling is messing with my head. Be honest with yourself, Michael. You do imagine what it would be like to hold a warm intestine on your hand, standing over their bodies. My god. No, I don't. That's not what I want. Don't lie, Michael. You climbed the tower, you opened the door, you sought me. No, I wasn't in control. No, Michael, you were. Enough! I'm done listening to you. Now, don't take your anger out on inanimate objects, Michael. Do you even know where I am? Where are you? I'm standing behind you. In front of you. Now, I'm beside you. You're just playing around with me, Morgana, mocking me for your own amusement. Not at all, my dear. In fact, I consider you a close friend. Why would I mock someone who means so much to me? We are not close. You will come to understand in time that we are very much the same. And when you do, you will also know that I'm the one person who truly understands you. Enough. 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 Let it all go, Michael. Curse it all with me. Despise it. Kill it. Make it suffer. Curse it. Please, just stop. And where might you be going, Michael? Wherever you run, I will always be by your side. Are you going to pray to God to exorcise me? No, that's quite amusing, considering that I'm the child of... I'm not praying to hurt you, Michael. On the contrary. Stop talking. Please, just stop. I want to set you free from your misery. I can't take it anymore. Please just be quiet. Oh, who's there? I'm here to deliver your monthly package. I see. Michelle? Is something the matter? I opened the door and there stood a servant of the Bollinger estate. He seemed to be quite perturbed by the sight of me. I must have looked terrible. Morgana's voice, her word, sapped my spirit dry. A human. A normal person, not a witch or spirit or demon. I knew good and well that the servant would never do anything to help me. He wouldn't believe a word I said. But at that point, his humanity was enough for me to latch on to. Help me, please. Pardon? The witch, she talks to me. She never stopped talking. I'm begging you, please get me out of here. Let me go back home in your carriage. Please, let me go back. The witch voice, it's killing me. It won't go away, I can't escape it. Please, I need your help. You've gone mad. What? You're crazy. See, this is why I didn't want this job. Having to deliver supplies to this damned cursed mansion. Having to get anywhere near the Bollinger's youngest child. No, I'm perfectly sane. You sold your soul to the devil. Don't think I'm in the dark about that. No, I did no such thing. You're completely insane. No. I'm done with this damn job. It's not worth all the riches in the world. Not if it means I have to be around a lunatic like you for even a minute. Jesus, man. Chill. Holy. Why? I'm not crazy. I'm perfectly sane. I'm not mad. Michael, your mind is far, far from sound. I won't hear it. I'm not mad, damn it. I'm not insane. I won't hear it. Oh god. The witch spent nearly every waking moment of every day at my side, talking and talking and talking. About how mean-spirited humans were. How ugly they were. An endless loop of vitriol. And she never seemed to tire of it either. Every single day. On and on and on. She also made a point of reminding me about myself. Everything I was trying to get away from. But as much as I fought to ignore her, to not let the things she said in, she slipped past every wall I put up. Her every word warping me. There was no escape. Curse them. Revile them. Remember the things they did to you. Close your eyes and envision it. Remember the scorn in their eyes, the way their lips twisted as they laughed. You need only curse them, and you can wipe those reprehensible smirks out of existence. I'm serious. Please stop this, Morgana. Please stop talking to me. I'm begging you. I seriously can't take it anymore. Oh, now why would you say that, my dear? It's just the two of us in this gloomy old house. I don't see what's wrong with a little conversation. Your voice, everything you say, is eating away at me. I care for you, and everything I say is meant to help to set you free. So I will continue saying it. You're allowed to hate the people who have wronged you. They don't deserve happiness. Someone who always smiling for you is someone who's certain to betray you. Someone who values themselves above all will not hesitate to put others' lives on the line. Someone who covets wealth and power will sacrifice his friends and family to obtain it. These are the kinds of people you once surrounded yourself with. I've told you repeatedly that I will not curse anyone. Why must you be so stubborn, my dear? I could ask you the same. Why would you just leave me be? Because I can't stand to see you like this. With one word, you could be freed of your pain. But because you insist on shackling yourself to the idea of family, you're making yourself miserable. We are the same type of person, Michael. The type who has the right to curse others. Regardless of what kind of childhood you had or how much you hated it, or how much hatred it instilled in you. Michael, you are a cursed man named after an angel. You need to realize how twisted you are, and soon. I'm not twisted. Do you honestly still believe you're normal? Tell me, what's normal about someone who's happily embraced a skeleton? Tell me, what's normal about someone who hacks away at a girl's face with a knife? You're not normal, and I will repeat it as many times as I have to. You need to accept that. Why must you hold so tight to your family, to your sanity? If you would just let go, you wouldn't have to suffer. No one is going to come and save you, my dear. The only thing that can save you anymore is your loathing. I think she's she's clearly trying to bait him into a contract like she did with Giselle. This is clear. It furthermore makes me think that this is like an alternate timeline that she's creating. I don't think she can change reality. You know, at face value at least. I think she just creates alternate reality, but I may be wrong about that. We are the same. I'm nothing like you. I'm not a witch. I'm not cursed. I'm human. I'm human. Man? Yes, a man. With that body? Huh. Oh my dear friend. Let me tell you something you should be quite pleased to hear. Do you know what some say about people like you? Those who are neither male or female? They are like unto God. Like unto God? Indeed. You should have been worshipped for your divinity, but instead your family cursed you. You are not human. From the second life was breathed into you. Your fate was decided. No, you're wrong. If I really were wrong, you would not be here. You would be back home with your family. Perhaps you would have a pretty little wife, living a normal, happy life together. But you have long since strayed from that path. It's well out of sight now. I have not. I am human. I am a person, a normal person, the youngest son of the Bollinger estate. I'm an ordinary man. No one, not a single person believed me. Not even the witch was willing to consider me human. Never mind my family. The archangel, whose name I shared, looked down on me. The witch tried to drag me into her world. My past constantly ate away at me. I had been imprisoned and displaced for far too long. There was nothing I could do about my body. All of those things combined threatened to break me. I let out a scream, then stumbled out of the room in a frenzy. I had to get out of that place. It didn't matter anymore that I was forbidden from leaving the property. I just wanted all of it out of sight. If they wouldn't let me come home, then I would run away. It was all I could do. I wanted to get myself anywhere that might have been even the tiniest bit of light to share with me. I was desperate. Someone, anyone, please tell me I'm human. Tell me I'm a man. Anyone, please tell me I'm not cursed. Oh. But when I opened the front door, searing light pierced my eyes. Ah! The world quickly went white. I couldn't see a thing, and then my arm began to burn beneath the sunlight. Black smoke rose from the sizzling flesh. A sickening stench filled the air. Excruciating pain quickly spread to the rest of my body. Why am I... water? I slammed the door shut, restoring darkness. Gasping and groaning, I turned back into the house in search of water, which I'm sure the witch Morgana observed with a great deal of pity. I don't think you're in need of any water. Take another look at yourself. With what little light managed to worm its way into the corridors to guide me, I dragged myself to the chapel, stopping beneath the pale light shining through the stained glass window. How? I wasn't burned. In fact, my skin hadn't even turned the slightest bit pink. There was nothing wrong with me as far as I could see. Where had that pain come from then? And the distinct stench of burning flesh. This is your doing, isn't it, Morana? I know what you're experiencing. It happened to me too. Sometimes, enough emotional distress and despair can cause physical pain. The mind and the body are much more tightly linked than you think. And your mind is far more damaged than you know. You poor, poor thing. You have my sympathy, my dear. You said, you sad little child. Collapsed on the floor in front of the multicolored window, I felt like the whole world was closing in on me. Or perhaps, metamorphosing around me. I was completely and utterly cornered, and there was no getting around that, which left me with only one option: to stop fighting and accept the harsh reality before me. It could make everything so much easier. The whole world said there was something wrong with me, and I was the only one who tried to deny it. So in the world's eyes, that meant there was something wrong with me. I was abnormal. I was irregular. I was mad. I was cursed. I was not human. I was not a man. If I'm not human or male, maybe I should just call myself a witch. I did, however, remain firm in my refusal to curse anyone, unwilling to give up that last piece of my humanity. Everything else I let go of, which took a great deal of weight from me. I stopped caring and I stopped thinking. I stopped wanting someone to accept me and I stopped wanting to run away. Sunlight no longer caused me agonizing, unseen burns, but in exchange, I became emotionally empty. I discarded my faith and my hope, building a shell of cynicism and closing myself within it. And in time, that became my normal. I began to believe it was what I wanted. Tranquility filled my days. Time trudged onward at almost imperceptible pace. The witch whispers no longer cause me aggravation. And that would be the end for today's video. And yeah, I know this is probably the shortest episode I've done in a while of this game. And to be honest, I'm getting quite tired. It's actually quite late as I'm recording this, so I want to be fully focused. So the moment I started feeling a bit tired, that's the moment where I stopped recording. And this is why this is a bit of a shorter episode than the rest. But I promise you, the rest of the episodes are gonna be exactly the same length as they usually are. But that's all for now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.